everybody. Joe Scott here with higherhertz.com, and welcome to another episode of How to Play the 5-String Banjo. Before we get started, please make sure to go ahead and click the subscribe button as well as that little bell, and we'll make sure to keep you notified for future videos. So let's get started. All right, folks, so today we're going to do something a little different. It's not going to be as much about actually playing the banjo as it is a very important tool when you're learning the banjo or any musical instrument for that matter. And what I'm talking about is this guy. This is a metronome, and the metronome is an incredibly important part of your toolbox for becoming a better and better player. This is kind of a little bit of an older metronome. It is electronic. It's a cool combination. This is the Boss TU-80, and I'm not even sure they're still available. They might be, but there are certainly others out there on the market just like it. This one's cool because it has a combination of a metronome as well as a tuner. All right, so it serves two purposes, which is wonderful. The metronome is actually, it has three purposes, okay? The first purpose is the most obvious one, which is to learn how to play your instrument in time. All right, that's the most obvious one. The other thing that it does that is super important as well is it teaches you actually how to play with other musicians. And it does that by, well, say for example, you're in your bedroom and you're in your practice room and you're just sounding great. You know, you're playing and you're the greatest banjo player on the planet. And then for the first time, you're going to get together with another musician, perhaps a guitarist, and you guys start to jam and you start to play, and all of a sudden, you're not playing as well. And the biggest reason for that is that all of a sudden you're in a room with another musician and you're aware of that person and you're aware of the sound that's coming out of their instrument, and that can be a really big distraction at first because after all, you've been spending all your time woodshedding and learning this instrument all by yourself. And once you introduce another element, that can be very distracting and disorienting. And also you might be a little nervous. So if you've been practicing with a metronome, that's like playing with another musician. You actually have to listen to this guy and play along with him. So in himself, this is a distraction as well, but as you get better and better with your timing, you get better and better of listening to an external source outside of just your own intense concentration. So again, it's like playing with another person. And the metronome's always right. If you get out of time, it's not the metronome's fault. When you're playing with another musician, if you guys get out of time, could be either of yours fault or both of yours fault. The third thing that I love about the metronome is it helps you keep track of your progress. So say you're working on some of the stuff we've already learned, like a forward roll. All right, and we're going to talk about more of this in a moment, but you'll have the metronome set at a tempo where you can do it perfectly. And then what happens is I would like you to keep a log, so just a piece of paper with the date. And you can say today, and you can set a setting on the metronome, and you can write that setting down. Today I can play the forward roll perfectly at 60 beats per minute, and you set that way, all right? And then each day you bump up the speed a little bit, which helps you to learn to go faster and faster as you're listening to the metronome and play better in time. And each day as you bump it up, you continue to notate. And after a week or two, you say, oh my gosh, last week I could only play the forward roll at 60, and this week I'm at 80. And it really helps you to realize your progress, because sometimes this is a long process, and you may think after a month that you haven't progressed and you're not playing any better or any faster. And then all of a sudden, if you're keeping track, you say, wait a minute, yeah, I am. I'm actually up 20 clicks from a week ago. So that's the other thing. So again, going over those three purposes again, obviously to learn to play in time. That's number one. Number two, it's like playing with another musician, so it helps you to do that better, and it helps you keep track of your progress. And there are a lot of different types out there, and I've actually, on my phone, I use an Android, but for both Android and Apple, there are a whole bunch of apps you can get. Some for free, some you have to pay for. But even if you have to pay for them, they're usually only a few bucks and very well worth it. And I do this. I've got both a metronome and a tuner on my phone. And we'll talk about the one that I have here shortly. And that's real handy because then you have it with you all the time, no matter where you are. Even if you're traveling, you'll have it with you. This is just a standalone metronome and tuner. And right now I've got it set in the metronome. So yeah, as you can see, it's making a clicking noise, 2, 3, 4, 1, and it's got that little needle going back and forth. Now currently it's set on 120, okay? And that's a good tempo. And you can think of this as a couple different things. You can think of it as being, every time you hear that click, you want to hit a string. You see, I'm actually playing quarter notes dun, 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 at 120, right? I'm just playing on each beat. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the goal is to be able to play that perfectly with each click. And if you have trouble with this, one of the best things to do is to actually just leave your banjo in the stand, okay? Take your banjo off and actually clap with the click. And just to see if you are feeling the time. One good thing to do is to actually just clap along. So let me set the metronome over here. So you hear the metronome. So first thing is to try to just clap along with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if that feels comfortable to you, that's great. And I would even start there. I would just start by clapping with it. And then once that's starting to feel comfortable to you, then pick up your banjo and do any of your rolls, anything you feel comfortable with. But again, remember, do it at a tempo where you can do it perfectly and in time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again, when that starts feeling really comfortable, then you bump it up. So that is the metronome. Again, an incredible tool to make you a better player. I highly recommend it. Here's an app on an iPhone of a metronome. And this works wonderful, as well as the standalone one that I just showed you a moment ago. It's just a free one, and we'll put the link below so you can see which particular product this is. And the way it operates is so easy. Up here in the top left-hand corner, you see it says 60. That means quarter note. 60 equals quarter note there in 4/4 time. So all you do is you notice there's like a little play button in the center, which that starts the app. It's got a needle as well going back and forth. So you've got a visual as well as the sound. And if you notice there's 2 little arrows to the other side, that helps you to adjust the click itself up or down. And it goes from way down around 0 way up to 280 or something crazy like that. So again, you simply start it and then play like the forward roll. Just every time that clicks, you should be hitting a string. So it'd be bum, 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 bum. All right. All right, thanks for tuning in. If you have not yet subscribed to the Higher Hertz channel, please do so by clicking on the subscribe button. Also click on that little bell to make sure you receive notices for future releases. Also, please feel free to comment in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. And share. If you'd like to share this with friends, we'd appreciate that as well. So remember, practice, 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 and I look forward to seeing you at the next 5-string banjo lesson.